But how much more value is it to take our grandparents' heritage of salvation and bring it to the Lord for restoration and redemption? This is eternal promises. I have a 110-year-old Bible. I don't even know if my son has seen it. I don't know if I showed you guys this, but it is falling to pieces. But I love this thing because, for one, I don't know how I got it. And I didn't, the family line that it came out of, I thought they were witches. And then I find out maybe they were Christian witches. I don't know. But I find it and I'm like, wow, I was so wrong. I really had this wrong. And there's generation of family in that just blows my mind when I think about it. And then I lay my hands on that Bible and I say, Lord, who didn't recover everything? Who didn't get those blessings and live it out? Who didn't get the promises? Who didn't get the inheritance? Who didn't get the finances? Who didn't get the businesses? Because your bloodline, your DNA is full of the goodness of God in you somewhere. That somebody had purpose and dropped their purpose. So redeeming those purposes comes from building the altar. And when I say ancient altar, it's because it didn't matter anymore. It wasn't until me and my husband picked up the call to the Lord. And actually, it was my son first that went to church first and started to walk with the Lord before we went back to it and began to restore the ancient history and began to reminisce on things that we knew as children. We had long since buried those wells. And those wells would have been great to drink from and all that pain we were going through for 20 years. So now if I've taught my son anything, I've taught him how to dig up those wells, and he could teach his daughter and any future children, grandchildren, how to dig up the wells and drink from the inheritance, from the promises. That is such a good place to be. So I want to encourage you, it's never too late. If you're the first, then you're the first. If you're the 10th in the row and 10 of you before you dropped the ball and covered up the wells, you're the first to uncover them. But you're the first. Can I ask you, how many of you are first-generation believers in the house? Anybody? Okay. Oh, wow. A few of you. That's awesome. Okay. And how many of you, out of your faith, have seen family members come to the Lord? That's pretty good. So you're the one building the ancient altars and bringing in the supply line, the spiritual supply line into your family. That's a pretty beautiful thing. Amen? And I think that's a biblical thing, as you see with Esau and Jacob, right? Somebody grabbed he took it, and he wrestled with it. And then Jacob later wrestled with God for the promises. Sometimes you just got to wrestle with God. Just because you say, don't ever, this is a word, and this part for you. Don't ever say, well, my sibling has that, and they didn't do anything with it. I don't get that. My sibling has it. Because let me tell you, if your sibling has it and they don't give it to God, it's yours to get. Can you hear me on that? It's yours to get. That is so good. So the first son blessing that the first son and the second son and the third son refused to grab hold of, God blessed that lineage. Somebody has to get it. He doesn't care. God's not a respecter of persons. He don't care which one gets it. He made a choice for somebody, but if they lay it down, it's redeemable. You got to find, right? Yeah, you got to find those redeemable promises. Amen. That was straight from the Lord, and I'm not charging for that.